fantastic offensive attack there from the LA Gladiators.
First tick done for New York, and they look like they're not showing any signs of slowing down.
And the damage coming down from Remix and Sherborne.
Libero finds his third kill of the fight, and now Savior will be coming in for the finishing touches. Pine gets his revenge. That's really impressive stuff from Asher.
It's a huge kill that New York picks up.
What a convincing dive from Los Angeles Gladiators.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from the break, and we have finished our first series of the day. We're going to be moving into the second one in just a moment. I am Semler, your host. I am definitely not Puckett, but welcome back to the desk, Zoe.
Hello.
You actually were preparing for an interview that we weren't able to get, unfortunately, so I want to grab your insight real quick. What do you think about what happened in the last series?
I mean, honestly, what I wanted to discuss during the interview was actually talking to Fury, and I wanted to know how he managed to integrate into this team so flawlessly. He's one of the only ones of the Korean players who actually previously played in a Western team, Team Liquid, I believe that was, and he just blends in right there. I think his cohesion with the other fellow tanks, with Gesture and Fisher, is just like flawless.
It's super impressive, actually, because normally you only see this type of cohesion with Korean players that have already played with these main tanks in other teams and they're brought into it. But no, he just literally slots right in like he's been playing with them for years, like he's an Apex champion or something. The guy is insane the way he works with Gesture and Fissure in general. Just any main tank, slot him in, and he's immediately peeling for the supports. He's protecting the backline. Not only that, he's also protecting the people from pulse bombs. Also, the guy's on another level, it feels
I think you have to keep in mind, too, that a lot of these players moved overseas to come here, and I think it helps a lot when you have a player that has been already in the States for a while, that can show you the ropes. Okay, this is how we do things over here. Make sure that the transition is a little bit easier.
This is the fire spot right here, the Korean barbecue. We're going here.
No, but you know,
we're going to
actually,
Korean barbecue every week.
I got to talk to the majority of the Korean players and teams so far, and they all said that actually we have on each team we have one player who either has been overseas before and does speak English in some way, or somehow learned it in Korea and like is actually really good at it. And those are the players who like they all rely on. They go shopping with them, like they take them out. So it's actually really nice to see how that further kind of blends them together and makes them like actually do stuff actively.
It's a lot of pressure to put on one person.
It is.
It's going on. Like it's just like you get 11 players just hovering around you like in a little herd through the restaurant. I don't know. That's a lot of pressure. I don't know if I can handle it.
I do love that it really helps those players because you know like. I don't know how many people can relate to it, but if you move to another country, you eventually get homesick, you know? It just really helps if you get out. If you do manage to, like, explore the culture, explore America, right? Like, I've personally been enjoying that a lot since I
Greatest
came
country on Earth. Am I pandering enough?
No, you're not. You're not getting the credit
okay.
for that one. I'm
Dead
sorry.
silence.
No, but it does help them to get out and actually experience the country they now live in, and that makes it easier to, you know, also abide to that practice schedule they all have because it is tough in all those things.
I mean, I mean, America's a big place.
Correct. Yeah,
yes, you are correct. I agree.
Thank you.
America's a big place. I was just laughing my head off internally, obviously, because I need to let you talk. But like, I just had this idea of like this horrible situation, you know, where you're showing your friends something that you think is really funny on YouTube, and like, they're not laughing. The poor guy.
14-minute video. Like,
I'm dying, but my
really
friends like,
good.
why aren't they laughing?
So what is your move
So
then,
that's putting the
Semler?
pressure.
What is your move then? Are you showing a second indie vain attempt of making them laugh, or are you?
That's where you just click. You're like, oh, that was the wrong one. Hold on, I was trying to like find another one.
Find it.
Yeah. This is, you know, like, oh, that was the wrong restaurant, guys. I know it'll be better next time.
You gotta hog it. You can't let them show anything after until you've gone through your videos because it's like 1-on-1. So you make sure that your videos are always
Still talking about the videos?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, that's what we're talking
I
about.
thought we were talking about restaurants. You're confused.
No.
Yeah, we're getting all over the place. There's like players that know the turf, right? They're gonna be like the pack leader. That is actually kind of fitting here in the case of these teams. You know, maybe it is the in-game leader.
Well, back to the Overwatch.
Fair enough.
Back to the
Crumb.
Overwatch.
Thanks,
I'm gonna bring it
MVP
back
right
here.
there.
Here's what I'm thinking. Oh, look, that guy knows.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, he wants to
I think
talk
what
about
we've
New York
been
Excel.
seeing is that flexibility in this game matters so much. The preparation is basically only there for your set strategies, and if the other enemies don't have varied champion pools, if they have or hero pools, if they have just. I got you. If they don't have
He's still
a lot of
wrapping that
variety,
whole-
if they don't have a lot of variety, they're not going to be able to flex and surprise their opponent. And I think for this matchup, when we have the Gladiators, I really like how in their previous instance, their ability to flex literally won them a game with Carpe playing Doomfist, surprise, Hydration busted out far, you lost the first point.
All right, guys. Well, it is time to begin the second match of the day. It is going to be, well, let's look at the schedule first, obviously. So, Los Angeles Valiant versus the London Spitfire. We all saw that. 2-3, a real nail-biter. We're going to get into the Los Angeles Gladiators now versus the New York Excelsior. I know he's happy. That's right. Have it down. But right next, wow, you guys are sitting right next to each other, too. That's going to get awkward.
With
We're gonna get some
Spitfire in
camera
the middle.
With the Spitfire in the middle. All right, let's bring out on the stage the Los Angeles Gladiators. All right. No way! Of course.
Solid.
Okay, trying to give Florida a run for their money. I can appreciate that.
That's a
But
robot.
no, he realizes right now that going up against, the New York Excelsior is going to be playing. Oh no, what's the name of the game where you die all the time? That's where it comes from. Praise the sun.
What?
Ah,
No, you
You're
lost.
confusing
I
us.
failed.
Lost me. Let's talk about the Gladiators, because these guys as a team they've actually shown a lot of promise, okay? Because
Yeah.
this is a team that coming into the tournament, I actually, before the tournament even started, before the preseason, I was looking at this lineup of players and I said, this is a team that has potential to be a real dark horse. They've got a lot of talent on it. If they can find their sort of niche, they can actually work out strategies against other teams. They've got a lot of flexibility in terms of their roles of Hydration. Hydration, namely, is going to be playing. There's the gent right there. He pulls out a fantastic Doomfist. We've seen this before. That can throw teams completely off tilt.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to say, they showed some great adaptation when they played against the Philadelphia Fusion. The Decided Map on Ilias started on a triple DPS for the Gladiators. Surefour was on Widow, did excellent on it, and once they got stuck in that composition and couldn't, like, gain any ground anymore, they immediately switched, and this is the kind of adaptation this team will need going up against the opponents.
All right, so now we've met the Los Angeles Gladiators, who are about to play Dark Souls because their opponents are ready. It is.
There we
I
go.
came to it.
There you
Came
go,
to it.
you got it.
Their opponents, New York Excelsior. And yes, the full Korean rosters, they are a bit like the bosses, very unforgiving. You cannot make any mistakes, but we have seen the versatility from this roster in particular. I mean, Pine, he really has been showboating.
Absolutely, yeah. Pine, this guy, and I believe he's going to be starting as well.
Yeah, he is.
Here he is, right at the back. This is him. The guy is unreal. As you all know, we named him MVP when he only played a single map for good reason, because he's popping off. But the interesting thing here is that he's actually going to be playing the first map, a starter. This is the first time they've actually done this, and it actually is intriguing me a little bit. What are they going to be doing with Pine here? Because the reason before that this is the conclusion I sort of came to, that they didn't run Pine, was because it limits them to a double hit scan sort of role, a double hit scan composition, but it seems they're okay with running him here.
Well, it's Dorado. You got Widowmaker's playground, at least for the first couple of points, and then you can always switch off to the McCree if it works well. So on your screen, you have Mako, you have Janice right there. This entire team is just so packed with individual talent that it kind of overshadows their actual strategic ability.
There
that you
he
have
is.
Pine.
There's the
is
man.
But I have to say about Pine being in the starting lineup, when they played against the Valiant actually made a point of shutting Pine down. He did not manage to go on a rampage when they played against him on Oasis. They really effectively shut him down, and that actually made that series on Oasis one of the closest the Valiant had against his team. So maybe other teams will take a leaf out of that book and also try to devote the resources to focus down Pine.
But then you get into the meta game, Zoe, as well.
That's
like
correct.
the meta games where teams are going to be trying to focus them down, so you build a strategy around that. Like this is the beauty of Overwatch, is like the strategy inside the strategy, and like just the mind games between teams. It's crazy. This is why I love it. Honestly, you see it starts to develop. Like for example, Horizon, we see so many different strategies developing on that map alone, just because teams are constantly playing it, constantly
If
swimming.
you're going on Pine, you're missing Jonek, and Jonek's out DPSing his own DPS, who are in a star DPS. So I still think you gotta actually ignore Pine a little bit, just zone him off, make sure he's on his own thing, but go on Jonek, because this Zenyatta is getting damage boosted and doing work with it.
So is that going to be a key here for Los Angeles Gladiators to get the win real quick?
They do play a lot of dive effectively, and I think that if they can actually pin down the supports first, that they'll have a good shot.
All right, guys. Well, it's going to be time to hand it over to our casters now. It is going to be none other than Monty and Doa to bring you the action.
All right, that's right. Here we are. Thanks, Semler, and we are pumped about match number 2 here on this beautiful Saturday at the Blizzard Arena. It's going to be the LA Gladiators taking on New York Excelsior.
It's the only way to say that.
I just love yelling that word. I don't know. I'm
You have
sorry.
to shout
It's
it.
me. Yeah. Why would they name themselves that if they didn't want people to yell it? Well, guys, we're going to Dorado for our first map. Of course, it will be our escort map. And we saw Valiant come very close to beating London in our last series. What do you think about this one?
Well, I think this is a really interesting map, mostly because Gladiators played Hydration on Doomfist on point A defense.
True.
In the last time we saw LA take the field in Dorado. But I'm also now intrigued because the big boss Pine is in for his first
That's right.
non-control map in Overwatch League, and what that means is probably Widowmaker coming up here very early on. Widowmaker and McCree overall, and they will be running a composition most likely without a Tracer.
Yeah. Show me that McCree. I mean, I know, you know, Widowmaker makes more sense to start out with on Dorado, but I've just been loving watching Pine's McCree. I admit, I picked up the skin. I try to channel my inner Pine when I
How'd
play
that
McCree.
go for you?
Not very well so far, but you know, it's a nice looking skin. I've got that at least.
It's all right. 10,000
Yeah.
more hours of PC FPS practice, and you'll be right on his level.
I'm almost there. I'm almost there, guys. Check back in like 2038, and I'll be ready to play McCree then. I'll be on the server by myself. Like, where is everybody? My aim is so good. Oh, well, here we go.
We are going to see Pine on that Widowmaker on defense to start things off. Libero will be on the Junkrat, so it will be up to members of the Gladiators to try and dive that back line.
Now, will they run Surefour on the Doomfist, though? I think the easy answer to that is no, but the other answer is maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I've nailed that one down.
Yeah,
there you go.
I don't think we're going to see it. They did run a Tracer Genji dive composition on attack.
It'd make a little bit more sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, last time they were in Dorado. But I do want to see that Doomfist again. We saw Gladiators full hold Shanghai on this map, and yes, everybody, the crowd is disappointed as Surefour switches over to the Tracer.
I'm bummed out, but oh well. LA Gladiators coming out strong still with the dive combined with the pharmacy.
Surefour going to be sinking around to the bridge on the high ground right now.
Yep.
And dropping down.
Hydration trying to get a good angle on the top, but he needs to worry about Pine. I'd be very afraid if I was playing Pharah into Pine's Widowmaker, or really into Pine's anything at this point.
With the Junkrat on the Orisa, definitely looking to defend at the choke right here with the barrier. It will be up to Hydration and Surefour, though, to get back on top of Pine, who's standing at the very end of the point. Now, we typically see Pharah and Mercy combos go over this wall. They're waiting for Surefour to provide the distraction on the flank, though. Now they're going in.
All right, Hydration trying to take down Pine. He's got him pretty low. He gets him. Good kill on the Pine. Good start for LA. And they are going to keep pushing forward to, wow, Hydration just landing rocket after rocket here on this Pharah. Meko has to back out and get healed.
Yeah, Hydration has been a good performer on the Pharah so far, but mostly I'm impressed with how good the flank was and how long they waited in order to spring the trap.
Yeah.
On the high ground.
Revenge. Pine comes back with a headshot on the Hydration. Meanwhile, Remix has to back away himself as the HP was getting a little bit low. Bishu as well moving towards the spawn, and yeah, they're going to have to reset here.
Yeah, they are. Pine coming back up and then immediately landing the necessary shots. You have to be able to control that space at the back of the map.
Well, I mean, during all this, we haven't talked about it yet, but Libero is on the Junkrat, and he is going to fill all of those spaces with grenades, and it's going to make it really hard for LA to walk forward through this choke.
Yeah, definitely will, and Hydration now decides that it's going to be back to the dive composition they ran the first time on Dorado with the Genji to deal with the Widowmaker. No long flank this time, though, as everybody coming into the marketplace.
Pine watching that flank, of course. And Jonak haven't been on board with him yet this match, but we know what damage this guy can do on the Zenyatta. Pine finds Big Goose, so there's no mercy right now. Oh, and Libero too, with that Riptire. So New York really stopping the Gladiators cold already on this map.
That was a really weird push because they went around the left side into the upper hallway above the marketplace, and that lined them up for shots from Pine and the Riptire, as we're about to see right now. It made it a very easy play.
Yeah, kind of bottled up in this narrow corridor, as you can see.
Yeah, that's Unfortunately, that was read very quickly by New York.
Can't reflect that one. I always thought Genji should be able to reflect the Riptire and take control of it himself.
Sure.
That's a terrible idea, by
Please,
the way.
please don't. I just like it. You suddenly just lose control of Genji and have control of a Riptire. Really awkward.
Yep.
All right, Surefour back around again behind the marketplace in the alley. The rest of his teammates poking forward, but they can't seem to get a decisive push going right now.
Yeah, well, they're going to try to change that with Surefour coming in. Oh, never mind! Pine was so ready, man. Those reflexes. Hadn't even used his ult, as you can see. That was just pure reaction time.
And now he's going to go support hunting.
Yep, Gladiators, though, using their ults. They want to push this. This is their moment, but they lose Shaz, too. Pine looping around the back, and there's no one there to really stop him right now. Now they sent Bishu back on the D.Va to zone him out. They may get him eventually. Yep, Big Goose comes in for a bit of mercy revenge.
Yeah, but Joel, it took 4 people to kill Pine.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, New York
the
gains
payload.
control of the payload, and they're down to 3 people with Shaz reviving. Surefour falls, and this is looking desperate for the Gladiators.
Well, I mean, it's more of the same, right? We see what a distraction Pine is, and he requires so much attention that you just can't push an objective. It kind of makes you wonder why they haven't ran him on these maps yet.
All right, the Winston coming around from behind right now. Remix jumping for the flank, but Pine is back on the high ground.
Remix already down here.
Hydration is close to that Dragon Blade. If he can get that, there's a possibility of a turnaround, especially with the Transcendence.
Yep, that's right. They've got a chance to push forward here. Hydration pulls out the Dragon Blade. If he can have a big one, it could be beneficial here. He gets taken out by Libro's Tire, though. Meanwhile, Pine did get the snipe onto Big Goose as well, so...
With Big Goose dying, he only got a chance to use one of the resurrection charges. They're desperately on the payload right now, but there's still Arc, Jonak, and Jonas there with Meko.
Yep, and that is it. NYXL with a full hold here on Dorado, man. That payload barely made it through that choke.
Wow, that was a very dominant performance, and
Yeah.
I think it was impressive the first push that we saw from the Gladiators, where they managed to take out Pine. They made a long flank and had the right read to engage all at the same time, but they never got in that position again. And it looked like a lot of the time after the play didn't work with the Pharah coming over the side, and we saw Pine return and start getting those snipe kills. They didn't really have another way of attacking that point.
Yeah, that first one was really their moment, and not able to capitalize on that. And NYXL finds themselves in the position to take a really easy win here on Dorado.
Well, I'm gonna wait and see. Of course, it was against Shanghai, but Gladiators did complete a full hold on this map, and and
It's possible.
I think they're going to run the Doomfist again. If I was them, I'd certainly take that risk. It's something that you know New York is not going to necessarily have practiced against, and it is a unique strategy that the Gladiators have on offer, and Hydration is going to pull it out. So the way this strategy works is you have one of the other DPS, now they ran it with Tracer before, but the other DPS covering the stairway on the right, and Hydration covers the main choke, and as soon as the payload gets there, it's very easy for him to catch people against the walls or catch people against the payload with the Rocket Fist.
Well, that's the plan anyway. But any way you look at it, it's a tall order. I mean, we can see on our screen right now that the payload doesn't need to move very far, so it'd be a pretty Herculean effort for any team to stop any other team from getting it at least to that point.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be rough. It looks like Pine will move over to the Pharah. This will be the first time. Oh, no, back on the Tracer, actually. So they will be going for that full dive composition.
Interesting. All right.
Trying to use those rapid dashes from Tracer and Genji to avoid the Doomfist. Libero's already flanking all the way around to the back.
Makes sense.
And Pine's on the other side, so they're actually creating a pincer right now.
Yeah, they're trying anyway. Pine just kind of scoping things out, letting everybody know where the opponents are at.
Libero is all the way in the back lines by the door towards point A, and he's already starting to engage Surefour.
Yeah. All right, Meko taking the front line as the payload moves through the choke unopposed. Gladiators need to get on this pretty soon here, I think. There we go, diving in now. Meko's still by there, he's gonna go in. Can he find anyone? No, pushed away for the moment. taking a little bit of damage, but he's getting the healing he needs. Shaz does go down though. Libero, the flank being successful. He took out the Zenyatta, and Big Goose taken down too.
Support's dead, and that's with iRemix. Should be an easy push here for New York.
Yeah, Surefour Remix falls. There goes Hydration, and that's going to be probably about it. Yeah, that's it. New York Excelsior taking a quick win here on Dorado.
Wow. Well, that was one of the fastest maps we've had yet.
Sure was.
In this Overwatch League season. That was a dominant performance from New York, and honestly, great patience from the Excelsior team as well. That was such a well-executed flank from both sides by the Tracer and by the Genji.
Yeah, it looked ultra smooth, and kind of the big story of that map is Pine and just the immense distraction this guy was able to do. And it's a fancy entrance for Gladiators, but a fast exit from map 1. We'll see if they can do a little bit better on the second one right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel and Omen by HP. This team, they are looking strong after some retooling here. Put your hands together for our LA squad. The Gladiators to the main stage.
Our team goal for the season is just to try and really mesh with each other, realize that we win together, we lose together.
It's just that simple. They made that look like they didn't have to think about it.
What was the call? I'm really proud to be representing Los Angeles, and especially the Gladiators. I always love communicating with my teammates. I always try to find better ways to communicate.
제일 기대하고 있는 거는 일단 저희 팀의 성장 가능성이고.
Both teams are looking black and blue after that game. Quite a slap fest. But at least we have a series now on our hand.
There's so many great players, great teams. In any given day, anyone can beat anyone.
I just really want to beat other Korean teams.
We We are back, guys, and of course the Gladiators, you know, despite the optimism coming into this one down a game as we go towards Lunar Colony, New York Excelsior looking pretty dominant on map 1.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty scary performance, but most of the maps they've had Pine in, they have looked dominant on and very specific in their strategy. It will be, however, Saebyeolbe coming in for Pine on Horizon.
Well, we love Saebyeolbe, of course, a great player in his own right, but it is sad to see Pine back on the bench. But hey, that's just what this team likes to do. They only bring him out on special occasions. So maybe we'll see him again in the control map.
Yeah, well, SBB, as his teammates call him, he is the better Tracer player, and we have seen Dive on Horizon from the New York Excelsior, especially on point B. We've also seen them run the quad tank with Moira for attack on point A. I think we'll call it the Moira meatball, because you just sort of like run in there as a pile of meat and get healed.
Yeah, but like, I mean, when you talk about associating a strategy with Moira, is meatball really the way to go? I feel like it should be something
she's there
medical.
with so many tanks.
It should be something medical. Like it should be like the clinic or something. I don't know, because she's got her patients and she's taking them through the. I don't know.
That's not indicative of how much fast her patients have.
I got it. That strategy is called the slambulance because she's taking her patients.
Okay, I like that.
And she's keeping them healed up, and they're gonna slam into the other team. That's right.
There you go.
That strategy is now called the slambulance.
Love it.
All right, sick.
Very nicely named.
I knew we could come up with something.
We did it together.
That's right. High five. There. All right.
I'm sure you heard that.
That was a solid high five. I think that came through on the microphone. Nice. Well, here we are on Lunar Colony, guys. Of course, it will be the LA Gladiators on the attack one more time. NYXL on the defense to begin things. There are 4 lights.
One of my favorite episodes.
I've been wanting to say that ever since I looked at the center of the stage there. I can't help it. Sorry, guys.
If you haven't seen that episode, I feel sorry for you.
Yep. Darmok, Angelar, Soccer, and all that. We know. You know too. Well, here we go. All right. So, LA Gladiators going for probably a fairly regular dive here on the attack. As Surefour swaps over the Tracer. What you actually thought you were going to see Symmetra attack. Guys, this is not your ladder game, all right? This is the Overwatch.
You should be grateful.
Yeah. Until Tyrong, the coach for Houston, starts playing again, we will not see Symmetra in a competitive match, I would guess.
They'll bring it back.
He's got the skills. It's true.
Okay, so New York Excelsior going for what we've seen many times before, this pick style of composition, controlling the high ground on defense, looking to pull people out with the halts, maybe land a hook, or get an angle for Saebyeolbe on the Widowmaker. Otherwise, it will be Libero just controlling space should they try and back cap the point.
Well, it's tough to advance at this one, right? I mean, you got to worry about getting picked. You got to worry about all that damage that the Junkrat does. And we've seen Junkrats build Riptires so fast on this map that that pick is just scary to deal with in every sense of the word right now.
Yeah, Libero's already waiting for Surefour on the other side, though. He's going to actually find him creeping around, attempting to backcap so they can force them off the point.
Yeah, gonna try to pull him back. Bijou diving in right now, trying to get him off that high ground. Can't quite do it yet, but they are on the point, so NYXL, they need to respond in some way. That's 1 tick already for the LA Gladiators.
Yeah, they have to come back around right now. Hydration and Surefour are there, and Hydration will take out Saebyeolbe.
Yeah, good start. That's 2 ticks now. NYXL bottled up in that side hallway. They need to get on the point some way, somehow. They've got Meko there, but Arc falls. Great start for LA Gladiators, and they may have point A in a hurry.
Yeah, they actually distracted them by looking like they were going to pursue the high ground and then dipped around to go back onto the point and force New York XL to play into them.
Yeah, that was a great first attack by LA Gladiators. It wasn't just the execution of the dive, but it was the patience in which they kind of set things up, made room for Hydration to get that pick, and then kind of followed through. Really well done by the Gladiators.
Yeah, and previously on Horizon A, they played a lot of Soldier and Junkrat. And they've been successful at taking that point quickly. It came to finishing out the map. They did struggle a bit more, but here's Hydration trying to get some damage done with the Dragon Blade.
That's a bold move. Can he get the kills? Janus falls early, but they need a bit more than that. Big Goose falls on the side of the Gladiators, and yeah, without that Mercy, it's going to be tough.
They actually did force the ultimate out of Arc, though, so no More Valkyrie side of New York.
And Bishu demeched, so he's going to be pretty badly staggered from the rest of his team, you'd imagine.
All right, so here we go. Now they're going to switch towards the Soldier Junkrat that they've run beforehand here, and this will be a lot better if they want to control the high ground and walk up through this doorway.
Yep.
And with Libero and Saebyeolbe not going to be either of them on Junkrat, they don't have to worry about a Junkrat on the ceiling shooting and spamming those grenades through the door, so can be a lot easier for them to go ahead and push up.
Well, Surefour has been pretty good about using those tac visors from the high ground too. The patience has been there, but you need to build it first. It's going to take some time, but they've got more than 5 minutes to do it with, so I would say Gladiators feeling fairly comfortable right now.
Yeah, they should be, and it's just been a slow push here for the Gladiators, trying to poke ahead, and
wow, all right.
They can, and Shaz is actually going to take out Jonak, and that'll be an early resurrection used.
Yeah, Shaz going to get rezzed as usual, but that res used early is not great. Libero comes out, gets cut down immediately by Surefour. Saebyeolbe will be waiting for that pulse bomb. Transcendence being used by Shaz right now as the Gladiators try to claim the point. They may get the first tick here. They're getting close.
That Primal Raging Winston should allow them to get the respawns in.
It's going to take time, yeah. Delaying on the point from Genis. Waiting for his team to get back here. Arc does go down. That's another Mercy out of the way. NYXL, though, getting the kills they need to hold.
Wow, that was actually a very well-played Dragon Blade by New York. So with Libero coming in after they had already used their Resurrection, they were aware that the Gladiators were going to have both support ultimates up. And so that meant that they knew the engagement was coming, because no war res means that anybody is now permanently dead. So instead, we saw the trade happen early. Libero sacrifices his blade and sacrifices his life, but it minimizes the effect of the actual Transcendence, and they have to use it to get to that point, cutting their support ult advantage down to 1. So heads up play there, even if Libero died.
Saebyeolbe will be getting aggressive. They take down Shaz. Good dive to remove the Zenyatta before the fight even begins. They're going to add Surefour to that as well. NYXL getting really aggressive on the defense for a moment.
As keep pushing him out. Don't give Surefour a chance to have the sight lines with the tactical visor.
Right.
Hydration, going to be looking for an opportunity to use that Riptire.
And I'm excited about this Shaz versus Jonak matchup too. I mean, we already saw Shaz get that one pick against him on this point, and these are two Zenyatas that are no strangers to getting lots of damage, lots of kills. Jonak playing it safe in the back, though. Saebyeolbe will be taken down by Hydration's Riptire. Good start, man advantage for the Gladiators as they try to come into the point.
Yeah, but if you use it that far back just to deal with the Tracer, well, he's going to respawn by the time you can actually collect the rest of your teammates and get onto the point. So
yeah, they didn't go in as aggressively as they thought they would.
Like, New York is actually doing a great job of just sacrificing their teammates, and it's preventing the Gladiators from actually getting
he got him! And you can't dive a Zen like that with less than half health. He's going to get rezzed immediately. Zen coming back here. Jonak back on the scene. Hydration finds Saebyeolbe on the outside of the fight, though, so NYXL maybe in a little bit of trouble here. That's going to be the first tick taken by LA Gladiators. Riptire comes in again. There's a kill onto Remix.
Now 5 members of the NYXL still up. Surefour falls, and there's no more resurrections to be used. Shaz will eat a pulse bomb, the Hydration. That may be the Riptire they needed.
Now, LA Gladiators grinding this one out right now. They've still got to deal with Genis in that Primal Rage. Bishu demeched. That may be the end of the push, but it was a successful one for Gladiators.
Yeah, definitely successful, and they still have time to finish out this map. A little bit close there at the end, and it just wasn't quite enough for Hydration with the Riptire to push them over the edge and to the finish here on point B.
Man, I love the confidence from Jonak when he ran into Remix in the 1v1. He saw Remix was about half health, and if you get the Discord on him right away and some headshots, you can definitely win that 1v1.
Yeah, Saebyeolbe also moving to the Widowmaker. So if he plays from this position, the fall-off damage from the soldier from the opposite side is not going to be able to hurt him very badly, and he will end up winning a lot of these duels.
Yep. Meko, meanwhile, zoning a little bit on the left side of the point. They've got Bishu a little bit separated from the rest of the team. Ooh, that's going to be a pretty devastating DMAX. That's a problem for Gladiators.
And just the patience with only a minute and a half left. Saebyeolbe snipes Bishu, but everybody will be waiting to attack right now. Many ultimates coming up, though. Surefour wants to take the Widowmaker duel.
That's brave. He's gonna give it a shot. They don't have a ton of, well, they got a couple ults coming up, but mostly they're gonna need some picks.
I mean, New York is also going to have 6 ults for this next fight. This is
They
going to
definitely have
end
the
in a
edge.
pretty spectacular manner as both of these teams are building up those ult economies for this last engagement.
Hydration, Riptire. Oh, Libero takes it down with the concussion mine though. Nothing out of that ultimate. And he's gonna drop his. Where is it? Surefour looking for the shot. Big Goose falls.
Such
That
a
is
clutch
not
kill.
good. Oh, Sabielby gets taken out, but remember, Gladiators can't push this without their mercy. Bijou D-Mech too, and that's even more damaging as there's only 30
There's
seconds
Arc,
left.
though. That's actually a much bigger kill because we have the members of the Gladiators trying to regroup, and they will be able to push.
They got one shot. One more chance right now to go for it. Bijou taken down though. They're gonna be short-handed here as they push forward. And look at this, NYXL knows they've got the edge. They're gonna go in with Janice on that Primal Raging, but hiding. Oh, Surefour caught. It was a distraction.
It was a distraction. He was already Primal Rage, but he was
Yeah.
trying to knock people into the self-destruct and just hiding behind the pillar waiting for the opportunity.
Ah, that was pretty bold. It was a good move. It paid off, but now Gladiators coming in with a couple kills of their own. Jonak has the trance. There we go. Zenol's on the point right now. Oh, taken out by the Bijou ultimate, and this might be an opportunity
They
for
have
the
to get on the
Gladiators.
point.
They're getting close, so they need to stay there. Big Goose comes in. He's keeping this one alive. Now Remix back on there again, but they're gonna need more. Big Goose coming in for the heals, but he's getting zoned a bit. Surefour needs to get some picks right now.
Savioli on the Tracer now, just trying to get the damage down.
Libero falls. We're still into OT, and here comes Hydration's Riptire from spawn. Is he going to be able to get there and get the kills? Here it comes. It's coming in. Oh, he gets 2 with it. And we're still in OT as Meko is on that Diva. Oh, man, it was close. It was so close.
97%. But props to the New York Excelsior for constantly keeping somebody on the point at the end.
Man.
Savioli with the Tracer swap. That was really dicey. You could see they were cycling people off the point, and they were so close to making a mistake that would have allowed the Gladiators to complete that map.
Oh, that was about as thrilling as it gets, man. When Hydration's Riptire was rolling in there at the end, I'm like, oh boy, this is a chance. And he even gets 2 with it, but Meko's still there. So NYXL barely holding on the defense here, and all they need to do is pretty much take point B, and they'll win this map.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it still is almost all the way through point B. So there's still a shot here for the Gladiators to defend. And at least right now, it does look like New York just wants to play Tracer, Genji, Dive.
Hey, I mean, if you got Libero on that Genji, you've got Sabielby on the Tracer. I mean, that's their strengths, right? That's what they've been doing well, so
Yeah,
no big shock.
Yeah, they just didn't play it previously on their point A attack. It was something they swapped to later on for point B, but you may not like their odds, especially if they see a lot of the Soldier and Junkrat coming out from Gladiators of playing a quad tank composition.
Right. Well, now it's all on the LA Gladiators to defend here on Horizon Lunar Colony. You can tell it's a lunar colony because there's the Earth right there.
It could be on a satellite.
Not on it. Yeah, but a satellite would be closer to the Earth, though.
I think it depends on where the satellite is. What if it's a man-made moon in the future, Doa?
Well, that would be the Death Star, and I don't think anybody wants that, man.
I would like a Death Star.
I bet you would. Don't worry. I Bullseye Womprats in my P16 back home all the time, so I can handle it.
Are you going to destroy my Death Star, Doa?
I absolutely would destroy your Death Star. Yeah, you should not have one of those. Yeah, I like you, but I don't trust you with a Death Star. I'm sorry.
Surefour going to be on a Sombra on defense. Now, this is something that we haven't seen a lot of since the start of Overwatch League. Usually the Sombra on attack.
Janice in the room. They're going to go ahead and D-Mech Bijou right away. Got a little bit separated from the rest of his team. Couldn't get to the hacked health pack.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do. You want to play aggressively in those small rooms with the hacked health packs, but because he got pushed off of it and body blocked immediately, that's the D-Mech is going to be crucial here.
Yeah.
Because we're still waiting for Bijou to get his suit back.
Now Surefour tried to go invisible. Gets a hack on Libero in the end. Doesn't stop you from climbing wall zone. He still gets a good opportunity. Up on the top here, that's going to be one tick taken by NYXL already. And here we go again. Gladiators coming back in, trying to push back the team in blue.
That was Sabielby dead. They need to retreat right now.
Yep.
They can't get a resurrect off. to pick their Tracer back up, so it's pushing back in, but now Meko actually manages to get Bishu with a self-destruct.
Yeah, well, Bishu got demeked by JJoNak, actually, so that was another disadvantage for Gladiators on the defense here. JJoNak has that Transcendence. We'll see if he decides to go ahead and use it. No, he's just going to kill everybody instead, I guess. That's 3 kills for JJoNak in that fight. And that's going to be point A.
I mean, the EMP came up, but it was too little too late. But they did get Arc to use his Valkyrie, so Big Goose will have his. 2 support ultimates available for Gladiators right now to contest this Dragon Blade.
True enough.
From Libero. So Gladiators have a good chance to hold here.
Yeah, they've got a lot of time to deal with from NYXL, but they've got the tools to make it last. Libero sneaking around.
Yeah, waiting very patiently near the stairs.
Being legitimately ninja-like.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, what do you know?
Crouch walking, nobody can hear him.
This is some good ninja skills he's showing us here. Better than ninjas in some other games.
Okay, so what they're doing is they're taking damage, so they, yeah, definitely. I got your reference. Reference game on point, just taking it back.
We got it. Here comes the Dragon Blade. Hydration falls immediately. Sabi will be on the pick on the Big Goose, too. Libero has to back away, but good position here for NYXL on the point as we get things started. Gotta dodge that self-destruct, though. They do. Coming back in onto Bishu now, a little bit on his own as Shaz falls. No heals coming in. And now another from spawn Riptire takes out Janus. Do they have the res? Yes, they do. Arc goes ahead and pops that.
So they waited to take the damage to get the Valkyrie back to match the Valkyrie of LA Gladiators before they attacked.
Nice stick by Surefour to take down JJoNak, and looks like LA Gladiators will be able to hold.
Yeah, they will, but you gotta respect New York for trying something there.
Yeah.
We watched a lot of Libero crouch walking up on the high ground, and it was just a matter of patience. Let's go ahead and get both of our support ults back up, get the heal to create the ult charge so that when we go in, we will have the Valkyrie at the same time. And as they walk in, Libero sneaks his way all the way towards the back of their spawn.
Right. And he's nearly got another Dragon Blade too, so they can try something similar if they want to, but I think LA is going to be watching out for this a bit more. They sure are, yeah. Nice dive onto JJoNak to take him out before the push begins. Libero just distracting people a little bit. Oh, what are you doing up there?
He's waiting for his leap cooldown to come back up. He was sad because he leaped up there and was like,
maybe no one will see me.
Nobody will notice me up here.
You're a giant gorilla, man.
Sitting inside a blue bubble.
That's right. Slightly conspicuous. He's like, no, the LA Gladiators are like T-Rexes. Their vision is based on movement. If I don't move, I'm okay.
Sadly, he was wrong.
Yeah. NYXL back to the drawing board here. Another push coming in. Still about 4 minutes to use. Pulsebomb not finding any kills for Surefour. Echo a little bit low, though, on that D.Va.
Valkyrie up for Arc, though, not up for Big Goose right now. Hydration does some damage, but that's going to be a resurrect.
Hydration's been finding a lot of nice kills with these Riptires, so Janus does come back anyway, but it does slow down NYXL a little bit. Libero taken down by Hydration, didn't get anything out of that Dragon Blade. Bishu DMAC pops a self-destruct. Everybody behind the wall now. And JJoNak, maybe he and Janus can kind of turn this thing around. We'll see. Hydration bottled up, taken out by the Winston, and they get 1 tick. That's going to be 2 ticks as well before LA can respond. They got to get back on the point here. Shaz coming out with the Transcendence right away. JJoNak has his own. He's going to pop it a little bit later here to give NYXL the edge. Big Goose falls. Good kills for NYXL. And are they going to be able to complete it? They came so close. They got to get people back on the point right now. They only need to get it to that little yellow marker, and I think they may have it. That's going to be it. NYXL will move up to 2-0 in this best of 4.
Yeah, solid hold for a while there, but eventually New York finds the support ult advantage that they were looking for. Big Goose took a long time to charge his Valkyrie at point B, and so just Arc there coming back up with it more frequently and able to find the window of time in order to attack.
That's right. Well, pretty thrilling match here, but NYXL still coming out on top in both the maps so far. But hey, LA Gladiators, we saw them in this position.
They know how to run it back.
I was going to say, man, we saw them in this position earlier. So after this, we'll send it back to halftime and see what the analyst desks have to say.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP and by Intel.
Hi, welcome back, everybody, from the break. It is halftime here in the match between the Los Angeles Gladiators and the New York Excel. Very quick 2 first maps coming through here, boys. So, I mean, you know, already, let's go ahead and start off with Dorado, first map. You know, usually a good place to start.
Yeah, it's halftime, but New York is splitting the Gladiators in half here for the first. It was not close for the first one, really, but they showed up, though. The Gladiators tried their own strategy, but I think you were mentioning that they probably did not prepare for playing against Pine.
That's what I think took them off balance a little bit, to be honest, because Pine has only ever played in control maps, right? They subbed him in for this first map, and they just weren't ready for it. You notice, look here, they were running Hydration on the Pharah. They made the switch to Genji a little bit later on, but they just weren't ready for the Pine show in general, because he completely shut them down. At Dorado, first point, you get massive sightlines all over the goddamn place. Look at him. He's just sitting onto the high ground, waiting there. He's got damage boost going on, hitting heads all day long, and it seemed like LA Gladiators just didn't have a game plan for it. They tried to work around into the buildings, tried to work their magics around there, trying to avoid Pine and take the fight by poking and prodding, but that just doesn't work because he's too good.
Brent, this is why you don't poke the bear.
Exactly.
You know, Bishu went out, they figured it out. Bishu went after him, he killed him, and Pine was like, okay, time to go to work, boys. They just started wrecking
3 headshots, bro.
This is why you need to have somebody who can go toe-to-toe with Pine. I mean, at what point could Gladiators have maybe turned it around for themselves on that first map?
I think they're going to be able to turn it around on the third map.
All right, fair enough.
The first one, if you don't even get the first point, you're not really going to hold anything. I mean, we even saw...
We saw the Doomfist. We saw the Doomfist getting used by Los Angeles Gladiators. Doesn't really seem like he was able to get too much of an impact.
The Doomfist worked against Shanghai, and that's when Shanghai did not have an answer to the Widowmaker when they were running Tracer, McCree into it, but now it's Surefour against Pine on the Widowmaker, so all of a sudden you're thinking, well, am I going to be able to go toe-to-toe in this one? Is this Doomfist enough for me to deal with this? And Pine didn't even go with Widow. He actually ended up playing the Tracer instead of Sabiobi.
Yeah, it's honestly just like a masterclass in performance, to be honest, by New York Excelsior. Everyone I spoke to is really actually pinning New York Excelsior as probably the #1 Korean team right now in this league, mainly because Spitfire are not quite there yet. You made an analogy to them being a turkey in an oven. Don't know what was going on with that.
That was a bit.
It was good.
Was it a juicy turkey?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But and the same with Seoul. Seoul have been looking a little bit more shaky as of late.
Sure.
Not really playing towards the potential they've got going. So New York Excelsior, there's a fair argument to be made that they are the top Korean team right now. And they definitely showed it. I mean, Gladiators weren't prepared coming into this map. That's what I think the main takeaway is.
Now, going into the second map, it did seem a little bit more competitive. They nearly got that second point, Gladiators. You know, what went wrong there? What stopped them from being able to clinch it?
So I was really worried when I saw the composition of the Gladiators. Oh no, another dive comp here. No Sombra, no tank. What are they doing? But they knew exactly what was going on. They just used their picks as distraction to make sure that they can weed out the XL from the high ground and then pick the support. So it was actually really well thought out from them. But when it came to the second point, it just got way too difficult for them.
Yeah, I liked in particular New York Excelsior. They were playing with the aggressive forward.
We got that, Brent. We got that so far. So yeah, like we like New York.
I like New York Excelsior. Very controversial.
You just need to go full Monty right now. Just then all of a sudden you got the New York Excel jersey on.
No, but
totally believe.
I liked the fact that they were holding aggressively quite far forward because Gladiators were coming into it with an interesting strategy. They were running Hydration on the Junkrat, and he was pushing in. He was lobbing in the bombs on a consistent basis. Crumbs, you pointed out that was mainly, basically, the idea behind it is you sort of moving onto the high ground, you lob the bombs down, you try and catch the supports, try and do damage to them, try and force the positioning a little bit. It's a good game plan, but the whole reason that will work in the first place is if you actually get a foothold onto the point, which New York Excelsior didn't let them do at all. Forward holds out, for days on end, just completely keeping them trapped in their spawn a lot of them.
Well, it's not just a point, it's a high ground when you want that junker. You want to be lobbing them to the side because usually you have that wall in the back of the point to make sure that the supports can go to either side, and they're typically hiding there. You see JJoNak playing that area, and he actually went so far as going around to the enemy's side as if he was attacking to actually lob shots from that side. So you have to always remain creative for the angles you're looking for when you want to play this DPS Zenyatta. And speaking of DPS Zenyatta, by the way, JJoNak actually played, again, less time than his counterpart on Chaz, had 9 more final blows than he did, and did over 3,000 more damage than the other Zenyatta.
So basically,
you had a
Jonak.
fan.
Well, you know,
You're
you're
a
saying
big fan of
Shaz versus
Jonak.
Jonak. It's Jonak, right? He is the
is
best
the Jonak
Zenyatta.
show.
Like, there's no argument.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm glad you're actually using that tablet for once as well, pointing out a few statistics. That's nice.
I'm using it for more than that.
Now, we are going to have Oasis. It is going to be a control map coming up next. You know, is there a window of opportunity here now for Gladiators to jump in and maybe take New York Excel by surprise?
I think there is. Last time they were down 2-0 against the Philadelphia Fusion, and they actually showed up big. It was a completely different Gladiators from the first two maps, so I think that they can, if they channel that again, they'll be able to bring something to the table. The hydration fire was really interesting here, so I think might show up and show up big. It beat Shadowburn.
You mentioned the hydration fire, right? But again, they've got Pine. They can bring him out. The big
Do you think
boss
they're going to
Pine.
bring him out on?
For sure.
Is this
why,
where we've seen
why
him?
not? Like, this is where we've always seen him on control. The guy is an absolute.
No
is he on the
cheating.
stage?
No cheating, Crocs. You're not allowed to look around, Mac.
I don't know. He's not there yet. But why not just bring him out anyway? The guy's had a dominating performance on every control map so far, with the exception of when they played against Valiant. Valiant actually had a game plan coming into it where they would shut him down only when Pine was overextending, which was very intelligent. But still, if Gladiators come into this match with a plan, the game plan being shutting down Pine, if they prep for it, which they probably have because New York like to run Pine on control, we might see a different result here, and we might see, I think, Gladiators bringing it back.
Might see Sabiobli reckon heads as well. I mean, this is going. You always have to have like the game plan A, B, C, D, and just keep going down to P because you're gonna have to deal with Pine eventually. But you know, you still have to deal with the depth of talent on the New York roster. And Sabiobli, I feel like, you know, the game plan for Valiant was that, you know, focus Pine. But then, hey, you know, you still had Sabiobli running wild. You still had everybody else running wild on New York.
You still had Janus, who actually had 9 jump pack kills.
Yeah.
Which is, you typically
crazy.
don't see that. And he actually had 7 more than Irene. 7 or 5, one of the two. But he just was doing a lot more. You know, it's a gorilla. You can't keep track of what a gorilla is doing.
I make up statistics all the time. You can just do it. Don't worry. Nobody's
Is anybody going to check you on it? That's you have the
No,
stats
no.
pad right there, man. Like, we don't actually get to go see those full
turned
numbers.
off.
You're the one who, and I just see you nodding all the time. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Never going to hear that stat, but cool. You know,
Candy
you put it on that paper. It's Candy Crush. Hey. So, I mean, Gladiators, though. Yeah, Gladiators. Gladiators. What are we making about it here? You know, going into it, what is, apart from the game plan of like shutting down Pine, are there any heroes that they can try and turn to that can maybe catch New York Excel off guard?
For sure. Like, Hydration, we pointed him out as a guy who likes to run the Doomfist. That can throw teams off guard a little bit now. When teams do pull it out, they're not used to playing against it. Because Doomfist is one of those heroes where there's so much potential when he's played at the peak, but it's so rare to see it. I mean, the last time I've seen him played at his peak was probably be Effect playing it for Dallas Fuel, or maybe Leaf. Leaf, who used to play for Gamers Origin, he played in Contenders Season 1, but we haven't seen him. Another French player, by the way, you probably get on quite well with him. But yeah, but yeah, it's one of those heroes that you can pull out, and if teams aren't prepared for it, if they don't know what to run against it, they haven't played against it, you can win games off the back of it.
All right. Well, here we have it. I think we've hit quite a few points going into this, what the LA Gladiators have to do to turn things around. And obviously, I mean, how do you deal with Pine? That is the big question. We are playing against New York Excel. We're going to throw a commercial break, and when we come back, we will get into map 3 between the LA Gladiators and the New York Excelsior.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
fantastic offensive attack there from the LA Gladiators.
First tick done for New York, and they look like they're not showing any signs of slowing down.
The damage coming down from Remix and Sherborne.
Libero finds his third kill on the fight, and now Savior will be coming in for the finishing touches. Pine gets his revenge. That's really impressive stuff from Asher.
It's a huge kill that New York picks up.
What a convincing dive from Los Angeles Gladiators.
We are back here, guys, at the beautiful Blizzard Esports Arena. Don Montecristo here, and right now, LA Gladiators find themselves down 2 games to the New York XL. And guess what? We're going to Oasis. We got a couple subs to talk about, Montecristo.
I think we do. And who's that on your screen, Doa?
It's Pine! That's right, back in, subbing in for Sabiel B. And he's not the only one on NYXL. They're going to send in their other tank player, Mano. Of course, from Korea Team World Cup fame, a great Winston player, one of the best.
And interestingly, the last time we saw New York play on Oasis earlier this week, they were running a strange strategy with Orisa, Roadhog, Junkrat, and McCree.
True.
So they were running a pick composition, which we almost never see because of the verticality of this map, and they were not running the Pharah. Now, we can assume that Hydration will be playing the Pharah depending on the points, so will they be able to execute? It does make it a lot harder, but we've seen teams like the Dallas Fuel in the preseason use the Orisa Roadhog combo to use the Halt to pull the Pharah down into hook range.
Right, and into range for a McCree to do more damage to her too. And I think if you're NYXL right now and you have Pine and you have what he can do on the Widow, on the McCree, you're like, all right, you know what? We don't need to play the same meta everybody else is playing right now. We've got a guy who can shoot this Pharah out of the air with very little trouble. So, might see a bit more of the same here on Oasis.
And it will be City Center to start us off. And right now, Libero is hovering over the Roadhog, so it could actually be a triple tank just to try and occupy the point at the center of the map for as long as possible. And seems like the members of the LA Gladiators will be going with Hydration on Pharah, and then perhaps Surefour on that Junkrat.
And no surprise there with Hydration on the Pharah. That's a logical pick. Oh, look out, Jake. Oh, he's not in this match. It's okay. Oh, I get worried. I get worried when I see the cars now.
Yeah, you actually tackled Jake outside of the studio when he was about to cross the street. You're like, no, Jake!
That's right. Now whenever he comes to the arena, they have like a special crossing guard for him and he walks into the building. Here we go, NYXL on the attack, of course, as both teams move towards the control point here.
And Meko will be on the Roadhog. He was spectacular in New York's last match on this hero, and they will be having Pine on the McCree and Libero on the Junkrat. So they're trying to deal with the Pharah in the sky right now. Pine taking a conservative positioning, just plinking away at range.
Hey, it's a less damage than you normally do, but it is still damage. It is still pressure on Hydration on that Pharah, so every shot counts. NYXL trying to get the point first. They'd love to get that control percent building. Nice hook by Meko. Brings in Bishu. They're going to demech the D.Va right off the bat. Ooh, he barely gets out with his life. Gets behind the shield from Orisa.
However, Libero has fallen. Nobody able, and Bishu going to get pulled in.
All right. Well, not the hardest target in the world to get that pilot D.Va with the hook, but it is something. Meanwhile, Pine trying to find Hydration behind the trees. It looks like NYXL will at least get enough space to get the control percent going early.
Bishu, normally one of the best D.Vas we have in North America, but today he spent a lot of time out of his mech.
Look at that, even took time to shoot the mine too.
We gotta clear everything out, though, and make sure there are no more perils left on the battlefield.
That's right.
So first few percent of control will go back to the New York Excelsior, and Surefour from spawn with a Riptire. This
I think he's gonna swap.
Traveling quite some distance. I agree with you, Doa.
Oh, he finds Shodak. I don't, you expect to see a lot of tires there, but not that tire on that part of the map. Whoa, are you kidding me? Pine, very lucky that the D.Va was there. Bishu saving his Pharah because Pine was on target. Bishu gets demeched anyway here. Demeched and de-lifed.
Yeah, Surefour wants to go McCree to McCree with Pine at this point in time. And unfortunately, the push was stalled out because even though they got the kill onto Jonak, the return kill onto Big Goose made it so that sort of a null situation.
Yeah, and Surefour did swap. He is over on that McCree now. Gonna try to go toe-to-toe with some of the members of NYXL. He is a good McCree, obviously. We've seen that many, many times from Surefour.
Trying to zone Hydration out right now, but he's not gonna work. That's a power boosted rocket straight to Pine's face.
That's a couple kills. Arc brings Meko back up again, so all may be for naught here. Libero very low, taken down. Bijou trying to swing this one back in LA's favor. There's a Transcendence now from JJoNak, trying to keep his team up, but the edge has been taken. LA Gladiators nearly flipping that point so far.
Yeah, they're really putting a lot of eggs in the Hydration basket now, but it is paying off. He's been damage boosted, he's been supercharged as they push forward, and Hydration landing a lot of the necessary shots.
Yeah.
And now we'll go back over to the Gladiators.
Well, if you're NYXL too, you're not super worried about this because you still got 93%, so you've got a lot of time to build some ultimates, get the edge back again. We do see some swaps going on though.
Yeah, very early swaps. So Meko, Mono, and Pine all will be changing their heroes.
Yeah.
Pine will be on the Widowmaker right now. They want to try and win with the range and try and take control of the high ground with the D.Va and with the Winston.
Well, Hydration's been enough of a problem to make Pine swap, and that in and of itself is a pretty nice accomplishment. He's got the barrage again. Libero goes ahead, uses his first. Oh, Hydration low, 6 HP. Gets away, gets the heals just in time, and LA Gladiators come out ahead in that fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty easy fight win for the Gladiators with the quick kills. Arc was pushed down very low and targeted, had to fall back at the beginning of that fight, and it's the window of opportunity the Gladiators needed to storm forward towards the spawn of New York.
Meko demeched. And that's going to slow down NYXL a bit.
He's actually just trying to Bunny Blaster right now. It looks like he's slowly hopping his way. He won't be resetting, curiously.
Whoa, yeah, he's getting taken out by the barrage, but Libero right there. JJoNak does get headshot though by Surefour, so kills on both sides. And LA still with that point. They're near 80% now.
And New York not in a great position to retake either.
No, not really.
Gladiators will be feeling good when Surefour gets hit to kick off things, and that'll be the Valkyrie used immediately by Big Goose.
Shaz trying to stay safe right now. They brought Surefour back up again. Jazz has the Transcendence in case he needs to use it. Right now, LA just trying to zone NYXL back, and they're doing it pretty well. Nice trance to try to keep Remix up. He'll be able to keep his Winston alive here. Surefour goes down again to Pine though, and now Hydration. A little bit on his own, trying to find the kill here on the Libero, and he will. Jazz did go down though. So they lost that Zenyatta.
A lot of New York members on the point right now, but Pine not finding the angles that he needs. Hydration getting low as he's targeted by Mono and Meko, but he jumps off. Only Bijou on the control point.
JJoNak falls. We're into OT right now. LA Gladiators on the verge of winning this first point, but Mano manages to get the kill on the Bijou. Hydration in the back lines. Wanted to get that blade out of that dash. Didn't quite do it. Now he's got it. Gonna pull it out immediately though. Trying to come up big as NYXL is storming back right now. Couple kills out of Mano's primal rage.
Only iRemix on the point.
That's big for NYXL. They'll switch it back, and they are already near 99% themselves. Can LA get back in time? Looks like Bijou can maybe make it. I'd like to see. There we go. NYXL. They barely get that one before Bijou can reach the point.
Yeah, I was trying to get there, but Meko actually bumped him off the point.
Yeah, good heads up
with
play
the D.Va dash. That was actually surprisingly close. If Surefour, or if Pine hadn't hit the headshot to start things off, there was a chance for the Gladiators to hold on to their Valkyrie for a little bit longer. But they had to use it early, and there was enough control percent left before 99 that New York could sort of hover on the outside, wait for some of that Valkyrie time to be used before they tried to actually contest the point.
Right. Well, NYXL comes out with a round win, but LA Gladiators certainly making them work for it. If you can get Pine to swap off the McCree, that's quite the notable accomplishment. Not something we've seen a lot of other teams be able to do on their control maps against New York.
Not at all, and we're actually gonna head into the next point here as we're already on this map, but it's back to the New York running the strange composition. So what they do is they set up in the corner and they of this Gardens point, and Pine is the only one on the flank right now. He is looking for supports.
Sneaky Cowboy coming around the side, and Hydration does fall. Pine, ooh, trying to go after Shaz in the back there. We'll see if that's successful later. It was. Check out that kill feed. Pine got it. Meanwhile, Meko on the point.
But everybody had to dive back to kill Pine on the side of the Gladiators, so they give up the point itself.
There's a hook.
Therefore, then
Ooh,
dragged
nice
in.
save.
Nice save from Bishu.
And Bishu is so good at bailing his teammates out when they get hooked, when they get in bad situations. Really, really well aware of what he needs to be doing with the D.Va.
Yeah, and it's tough to break this hard point if you're the Gladiators. They're doing the same thing as they did in the last time they played Oasis, which is sit in the far back corner behind the Orisa barrier. They're all just stuck there. Libero just going to kill it with a mine. That was actually really bold from NY. They were so confident that Riptire was going down from a concussive mine from their own Junkrat.
And Surefour not swapping. Still on that hydration.
There's a nice kill.
He drops both supports for NYXL. They're going to have a lot of ults coming back into this, but LA will flip the point for now.
Yeah, herding all the members of New York back into a corridor and then using the AoE damage from the barrage to finish them off. That was a nice control of space there from the Gladiators, and of course they will have seen that footage from New York, so they'll have a plan of how to deal with this strategy, and they're already going to be moving up into close to a tie situation.
That's right. NYXL has a lot of tools to use in the ultimate category. We'll see what they can do. Meko getting a bit low, tries to get back behind the Orisa shield, barely makes it. Hydration getting aggressive here. He's got the heals though. Oh, there's the hook. That's that combo, man. The ball and chain, the Orisa Hulk setting up the hook for the Roadhog. That's going to be a whole hog coming up for Meko as they try to bull rush their way back onto the point and retake it.
Everybody's Valkyries are used right now. LA Gladiators can be relying on that Transcendent. Same with Jonak as they continue to fight on this point.
Oh, iRemix tries to find Jonak. Can't quite do it. Has to go back to the point to try to save it. NYXL half that control meter filled up right now. 2 from the barrage of hydration. Well, Mano in the supercharger anyway. It is still something, though. It is still enough for LA to hold the point.
Hydration's barrages have been excellent on this map. He is getting a lot of value out of those abilities. And when you're playing against a composition like the Excelsior are running that can't escape very quickly, you're going to have a good time with that. That's actually going to cause Mono and Pine to go ahead and switch, especially Mono there onto the Winston.
Wow.
After dying on the Orisa. So I think he's tired of being an immobile robot centaur.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you do get tired of being the immobile robot centaur. Thanks for saying what we're all thinking, Monty. Surefour taken out by Meko. Pine already has that pulse bomb. Wow. Kills coming in for NYXL. Shaz, ooh, nearly knocked off the map, but he manages to stay there. Engage the rocket boosters somewhere on Zen to stay on the map, I guess. But it's not going to be enough. And NYXL looking like they're going to swap it. So 99% for LA Gladiators, but NYXL in control for the time being.
Yeah, and they did force them off the weird composition. They come back, now they have to play the Pharah, now they have to play the Tracer and the Winston, but Gladiators, they've already got the Valkyrie up. There's a timing they can execute. If they can get Arc killed quickly, it's not going to work. They actually poked them, so the Mercy healing will be pushing him up. But Shaz still has an opportunity to get the trance up first, and they have some time here. So a couple pushes still left, possibly for the Gladiators.
Oh, Bishu going deep. Nice kill onto Jonak to start this one off. LA Gladiators looking to take this point back. Kills on both sides. Bishu, D-Mech, that's going to be a problem. Pops that Primal Rage, trying to find the kill onto Pine. At least he gets back into the mech here. Meko got the kill onto Remix, though, and NYXL with a little bit of an edge here. Bishu, kind of an island on the point here. He's got his other tank, though, to help him out.
Yeah,
Surefour gets a kill onto Arc. That's big.
He's still alive. Jonak's Transcendent's going to come out to try and clean up this fight. Libero has returned to the action in the skies as Pharah.
We're going to go up to 99-99, guys. NYXL holding on for the second here. And now the kills coming in. Gladiators nearly swapping that point back. New York needs to keep people on there. OT ticking away. Now Gladiators, desperation mode. Libero with the barrage. 2 already, make it 3. That may be enough. And there goes the overtime. NYXL will win Oasis.
Close map, though. Gladiators had the answer tactically for the strategy that Excelsior had tried to use before, forced them to swap off.
That's right, and with that map win, that means New York will win the series. They've got enough maps to do that, but we still are going to play the 4th one, of course, because that map score can be important later in the season. LA Gladiators with a lot to fight for going into our hybrid map.
It will be Eichenwald that we come up with after the break.
That's right. We'll see if they can at least come away with something right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel and Omen by HP.
A league that offers opportunity for talented competitors to test and push our assumptions about how the game is meant to be played.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming at you live from Los Angeles, California. Welcome to the Blizzard Arena.
Hey guys, well, NYXL gonna take this match. Already 3 map wins, but we're gonna still play Eichenwalde again. Important, a map win can mean the difference between making to the playoffs or not, so Gladiators still a lot to fight for here.
A bit curious, not by Sabiel coming in for Pine, that's not curious at all, but by Asher coming in for Hydration. When we've seen the Gladiators play Eichenwalde, they have run some Pharah Tracer combinations, which you think ideally you'd like to have maybe Asher and Hydration in there, but it may tip their hand to a new strategy from Los Angeles.
Well, I wonder if the thought process here is that Surefour can just go ahead and play the Pharah, and then if they need someone else, if they want to go like Tracer McCree, they can do something like that too, or Tracer Widowmaker.
Yes, so, I agree. It does lend itself better to double hit scan, and Surefour can play the Pharah. So we'll see how this pans out for the Gladiators, as they are going to be on the attacking side first.
Indeed. Welcome to Eichenwalde. It's been a pretty sick match. Gotten to see a little bit more Pine than usual. We've gotten 200% more Pine in this match today.
And fun facts, Pine still has not lost a map of Overwatch.
Yeah.
In Overwatch League.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good player.
Not too bad.
He's 5-0 in maps right now.
Wow.
So we'll see how long he can keep that streak alive.
They use him sparingly. It could be a while, but LA Gladiators, I think legitimately these guys are putting on a really good performance today, but you know, they're just looking a little bit outclassed by NYXL. I mean, what else can you say? It's a team that's on another level, but it's hard to take a lot away from the Gladiators with some of the stuff they've shown us.
Yeah, they also have had a rough schedule. They've had to play both New York and Seoul so far.
Yeah.
And they've taken important wins, such as one earlier this week against Philadelphia. They definitely have shown their mettle, and I'm sure they will continue to improve as the weeks go on. But in terms of New York, one of the main things I've said about this New York roster is, on an individual level, my God, they are spectacularly talented. But it's been some of their old coordination, especially with their support ultimates, that's needed work. Obviously, JJoNak can do a lot of damage, but JJoNak doesn't always have the best transcendences. But I think today, with their patience around the Valkyrie, that we're actually seeing some improved coordination in that regard, which is going to make them potentially a #1 team.
I think it's a great thing to mention. I think JJoNak is showing a little bit of evolution here in his Zenyatta play. Asher over to the Tracer, just wanted to make sure that he didn't have any little opportunities with the Widow at the beginning of the map.
Yep, nothing new here from the side of Gladiators. Back to the Tracer Pharah.
Yep,
With the initial attack on Eichenwalde, and Surefour will be playing the Pharah. Meantime, JJoNak, interestingly, on the Ana.
Yeah. Well, you've got that opportunity to put the Nano Boost onto the Winston, onto the Pharah on your side, and kind of clear out the point if things get to emergency levels.
JJoNak actually almost falling at the start of this.
Now Shaz will fall, though. Shaz getting taken out by Sabielby. And that's a problem for the Gladiators. They can't really, it looks like they can't get the res on him, and there's a D-Mech onto Bishu. So that's going to be the end of that attack from the Gladiators.
Yeah, Bishu actually just get delayed there even more. They pushed him away from the edge and are now refusing to kill him.
Yeah.
Okay, so he
now they do.
He was heading over towards the edge, and then
gotta get those stats, man.
Meko came in and pushed him backwards. And body block him.
It's mean, but it's effective.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that you get out of this Ana too is you get a little bit more pressure onto the Pharmacy combo too, with the Ana able to hit those shots like we're seeing right there. Yeah, look at that. Wow.
It does make it easier, hard to calculate long-range shots with a projectile of Zenyatta's orbs.
Yep.
And now
gonna give the Nano
Mano's
Boost to
gonna
Mano.
leap in, gonna find Bishu. Still looking for supports, however, and Shaz gets roasted.
Yeah, you're not gonna live through that one if you're Zen. Oh, but Surefour with a bit of revenge, a rocket from behind. And Gladiators coming up with a couple reses. They've got a shot here. Arc pops his Valkyrie as well on the side of NYXL.
Yeah, Mano gonna come back up. Meko, though, will take out Surefour. There are no more resurrects on the side of the Gladiators. They were trying to punish the forward extension.
Here comes the Transcendence. So first tick on the point taken by LA. Already there's the barrage, and he kills. Yeah, he gets Big Goose, and Asher falls too. That'll be a hold from New York, but it was a little bit close.
Bishu will get bounced off the edge right now. He'll be happy to go. They can rejoin his teammates, and New York a little bit dicey there as Mano pushes forward to take out Shaz, but the Valkyrie coming through. They did have to use both the Valk charges immediately in that fight.
Yeah.
And they couldn't protect the body of Mano to prevent the resurrection onto him, so
no support ults from either side right now, but LA coming into this one with a couple nice offensive ultimates to try to take this one. They've got a bit of an edge there.
Yeah, that Nano Boost is going to be coming back really soon, though.
True. Sleep Dart misses. Hard to hit those Tracers, though, that's for sure.
All right, so Nano Boost is going to be used on Mano once again, most likely.
Oh, yeah, I would think so. Oh, he gets stuck. There's a Nano Boost. He knew he was going down, had to do it. And now Mano needs to make a big play with this Winston going after Shaz. Jumps over him. Shaz in a decent position here. Mano gonna retreat back to the point. That looked fun.
I mean, JJoNak got resurrected, so he bought the time necessary to get the Ana back up. And
Bishu
now right onto the point once again.
Yeah, Bishu nearly getting D-Mech there. It was close. Libero taken down, though, as Surefour claims the kill on the opposing Pharah. Mano back in the house right now. Is it going to be 2 ticks? Yes, it will for LA. Barrage comes in for Surefour, though. Libero going down one more time. And Mano just trying to do what he can on the point. It's all about delaying right now. Meko there as well. How long can they delay, though? Nice kill onto Big Goose. That's going to help a lot.
It's still up for grabs here in this fight.
We're down to 5 seconds here.
Yeah, gonna be used.
Yeah, self-destruct, not finding any kills, but Libero comes in with that barrage, and that may be about it. LA still on the point route now. We're into OT. Can they get it going? They can. At the last second, the Gladiators will move the payload.
Surefour with some clutch kills onto the aerial members of the Gladiators, with Libero and Arc falling to the Rockets, and they come back with 3 people remaining at the end of the fight to just 2 of the Excelsior. SaBLB goes down, and that means the payload will get rolling here. 2 minutes only.
Not a lot of time, but hey, it's better than getting full held, right?
Absolutely it is. Surefour sticking with the Pharah here, trying to control the top of the keep on point B.
Well, they lose Asher early. Echo finds him while he's trying to flank.
That's a bit rough right now because can't afford any kind of delay.
Well, the payload's not moving at the moment.
This much room for the payload still to move on this map.
Well, you got to move the payload. It's a minute and a half left now for LA. They need to be aggressive with this.
Yeah, the
Libero taken down, that helps.
Yeah, that does help. And Surefour with the crucial kill once more, trying to force the supports back and away from the range of healing against some of these tanks.
Well, Surefour's rockets have been accurate, but you need a little bit more than that. They come in a little bit deeper now, manages to knock Janus off the high ground, gonna go ahead and cause him to pop that Primal Rage here. Mana, rather, our other Winston.
There's only a little progress being made. JJoNak actually snipes Asher off the payload, so now no one is moving the payload.
Well, we're less than a minute now, and nobody's on that payload. They finally get back to it here, but New York doing a good job of just zoning everybody off of it. They're gonna pop the Transcendence to try to get in there. Surefour with the barrage. A big ultimate could help them move it the rest of the way through point B, but ooh, he's just not finding that angle.
The chase on the supports. They were just zoned out, and immediately Big Goose falls as the tanks get on top of him. Arc still going to have that Valkyrie here for the next fight, as will Big Goose. 5 ultimates, and the Gladiators will have to push this through into overtime. They need to be conservative with how many ults they use at the start of this engagement, because they have to have enough to move them all the way through point B.
That's right, they've got a long way to go here. And they need to make something happen right here, right now. Otherwise, it's going to be an easy time for NYXL. Here comes the Dragon Blade. JJoNak taken down, though. Asher finds that pick. The Res comes in for Arc. Asher waiting for it. Can't capitalize. Still has that Pulse Bomb. We're into OT. They got to get back to the payload right here, right now. Valkyrie used. Self-destruct coming in.
Surefour still with the barrage. Gonna come in from the reverse side of the cart. No kills though with the barrage. Arc is still managing to live.
Oh, Arc's taken down. Yeah, New York's scrambling now. They don't have their mercy. It's OT, but New York, they're pushing it a bit, but Bishu needs a little bit more support himself. He's getting DMAC taken down, and now it's all blue on the kill feed, and that will be it. A really good hold for New York Excelsior.
Still an option, still an opportunity here for the LA Gladiators. With a full hold, they could make things tense.
Yeah, it's certainly possible.
And take the map, but you know, it's only about halfway through point B. Pretty much exactly halfway through point B, actually.
Yeah, and you don't see the payload get stopped there very often. That's usually one that, if it does get stopped, it's a little bit farther down the line than right where it ended up. So it's going to be LA Gladiators again in a pretty tough spot to win this map.
Eichenwald is difficult if you only take the payload in that overtime, because it's such a long point B, and you only get 2.5 minutes in order to run that, and most teams it takes them a little bit longer if they want to successfully push.
Yep, very true. Well, sullen faces on the side of the Gladiators, and it is tough. I mean, when you play as well as they did, and I do legitimately think they played well today, and you just get beat like they have by NYXL. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is, but they have shown promising results in this season.
Yeah.
It's a long way away from playoff time, but they certainly are making themselves a contender for the top half of Overwatch League.
Yeah, I think both LA teams are looking pretty solid this season already.
Oh yeah, well, Valiant doing very well.
Hashtag Best Western. Well, New York with a point A take and a little bit of a push through point B can make this a 4-0 series. Los Angeles, of course, would love to see that go the other way. 1-3 certainly better than a 0-4, and we'll see if they can pull that off as New York gets rolling here on attack.
And mirror compositions will be the name of the game. Gladiators defending as well as attacking with the Tracer and Pharah, and now New York will be jumping out of the doors and over some buildings.
Yep.
As they scope out the enemy composition, realize that it is the same as their own.
That's right. Mirrored comps, Libero. Trying to find those air-to-air. Ooh, there's a nice one. Onto Surefour. Bishu demacked already. Wow, that's a little bit surprising here. Oh! Nice air-to-air onto Surefour. Oh, that's a problem. Will the res come in? He's chasing down the Mercy. No, Big Goose taken out almost immediately. He had to go for it, but New York looking like they may be heading for a really quick point A take.
Bishu down as well. That's going to be it here. They're going to bump Shaz straight onto the point, kill him as well. Libero popping off with the rockets.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive performance from Libero, hitting those air-to-air, staying alive, and the payload going to be moving. So New York Excelsior with 5.5 minutes to push the payload halfway through this next point.
That's a long, long time. 3 more minutes than we're given to the LA Gladiators. It's going to be a difficult hold. At least it'll start where Sabiel will be dying and having to go back to respawn. Libero wants to move to the Genji now. They're going to dive the top of the castle. Surefour will be trying to control that space and prevent the dive by using the Soldier 76 and the extra healing from the biotic field.
Yeah, oh, Asher getting aggressive. They need to stop this payload right away. JJoNak under pressure. Remix goes down though. They were ready. They know LA needs to be hyper aggro right now, so all they need to do is just to play it safe.
And now they're gonna push forward. Asher has to go back to try and stall out this payload right now.
JJonak's got a headshot waiting for him though, and Asher falls as well. Back to respawn for him.
Now this is the part where they just move forward, trying to create as much space as possible, force them to run the gauntlet to get back on the cart. Remix desperately leaping in, does use the Primal Rage simply to get back to the payload and prevent its advance.
Yeah, but New York can just back off at this point. They've got so much time. Big Goose taken out with that self-destruct, and the payload is basically there, a quarter of a meter to go. And there's a Transcendence to ensure the clearing off of the rest of the LA players. Can they do it? Looks like that might be it, and it is. The Los Angeles Gladiators can hold, and NYXL will take a 4-0 victory.
This is the most clinical we have seen the Excelsior so far, hands down. Purely based on their own play and the precision of their teamwork, this has been their most convincing victory.
Absolutely. It wasn't just those individual performances that we're used to seeing from this guy, but looking at JJoNak, like we were talking about, his Transcendences were much better time. The team looked tighter as a unit overall, and despite, again, the good performance put out by the Gladiators, New York looking very dominant.
They only gave up 2 points across all 4 maps. That, I think says it in and of itself, and especially starting off with Dorado, it was just incredibly convincing.
So if you're the Los Angeles Gladiators, where do you go from here?
I think that they're going to keep finding their groove. I'm not sure how they're going to look their best. We only did get to see Asher for a single game in this series, where in the preseason we saw a lot more of him. When they've been successful, like you noted on Watchpoint, with some of these triple DPS compositions. So we know they have a good amount of versatility, and I think it's just about growth. It's hard to play against some of these Korean rosters that have been playing together, or at least the cores of them have been playing together for a year and a half already.
Oh, definitely. I mean, in the first stage of the Overwatch League is important, but there's a lot more coming, of course. And when we come back and interview with Zoe, of course, down on the floor, and then we move to the desk where Professor Glitterbeard and the rest of the analysts will break down the action.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP and by Intel.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. I am now joined by Ark from the New York Excelsior. Please give it up for him. Once again, I get the chance to talk to you. First of all, of course, congratulations on a convincing win once again. You guys are currently undefeated, 4-0. What do you think is the biggest strength you and your team were able to rely on in those 2 weeks?
I think one of the biggest strengths of our team is that our support and tanks try to make our DPS comfortable so that they can make the play, some like super plays like what Pine did in the Ilios. Yeah.
All right. Now, if we're looking ahead, next week, we're going to see you guys facing off against the Seoul Dynasty. It's a big, yeah, right? That's a big one coming up for you guys. Are you excited? Are you worried? Are you well prepared?
I think Seoul will be one of the top wall we should get over, so we'll try our best and prepare a lot for them.
Did you already prepare this week against Seoul next week, or?
Yeah, we prepare some of them so that we can, we're just, focusing on Seoul right now.
All right, all the focus on Seoul. Well, let's hope it pays off. We're definitely looking forward for that match. Good luck with that one. Thanks a lot for joining me. We're now breaking down the action on our analyst desk.
Yeah. Thank you, Zoe. And thank you, Ark. Ark, he is such a fantastic human being. Definitely tune into his stream when you get the chance. He is the embodiment of what you should strive to be in Overwatch matchmaking.
Not like
at
you,
least.
Semler.
Definitely not like me. Definitely not like. Do not. Well, that's why I don't stream Overwatch.
There you
now
go.
It's all a mystery, Ben. They don't know what you're talking about right now.
Of course.
You do know how to talk
Mate,
about
I heard you
Overwatch,
down
though,
the
so let's go
hallway
ahead and
the
start.
other day.
What?
I
Down the hallway?
Screaming. You were going mad.
No, but it's great because you can't actually repeat what I was saying either, right? Of
course.
Because we're on stream right now. But I am a great human being when I play Overwatch. Hey, so let's get into the
Right. I've got a illustration. I want to show everyone this on Oasis just to talk about this because it's a nifty little play that New York were doing, a nifty little composition as well. So we can get and dive straight into this one here. So as you can see, this is actually on the second round of Oasis, and the first thing I want to point out is this. Monty made reference to it in the cast. Actually, it's the running of Mano on the Orisa. You can see that gent right there, and it's interesting. You place the shield around here. Your entire team plays around this area here. They're all protected by the shield. We've even got Libero on the high ground, so you can just spam in those bombs into the angles and try and basically get those early pickoffs. But the most interesting part to me is the fact that Pine is not playing with the team as you might expect. Instead, mate, he's just going on a mad one in the back lines. I don't know what he's doing. He's going for the big wraparound of 2018.
Real bender.
Yeah, he's going for it, and he actually gets a solo kill onto Shaz because he recognizes and realizes that Los Angeles Gladiators are not going to be prepped for Pine. They believe when you're running the Orisa shield, he's going to be playing around his team, but that's not the case at all, and you can see how this plays out here. It's just a nice little strategy. You place down a shield, your team's protected onto the point, and meanwhile, Pine is just going to be getting kills into the back lines, and even though he does die here, he gets a critical kill onto Shaz. That takes the support out. The rest of his team has to dive, and that allows New York Excelsior to get the first cap onto the point. So I just thought that was pretty nice, and once they've got the point, you've already got that sort of established foothold with the Orisa strategy. That's sort of what you're going for at the end of the day. And I just thought it was nice, you know? New York Excelsior flexing a little bit, showing off that they can do other stuff other than dive.
I like it.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was nice. I feel like I learned something. You know, the fact that Pine doesn't need to single-handedly kill the entire team. He can actually just get one guy, and it's still successful.
What he's telling me is that I can feel good about going off on my own.
Please
missions
don't
on
feed
McCree
our matchmaking.
when I'm doing
Please don't
matchmaking.
feed into
Gross.
matchmaking.
No, that's not what you're supposed to think, please.
Puckett's awful at that, actually. He's terrible. The guy plays D.Va like I don't know what he's trying to do. He's trying to feed the enemy team as much as possible. If he ends the game on 20 deaths, he's Gucci.
Yeah, because he's just an awesome human being. You know, it's all about giving.
What the definition of awesome, but
Puckett just believes in making everybody feel good on that server.
Oh, Hydration was feeling sick this game because on his Pharah, even though they lost, he actually ended up hitting 32% of his team's overall damage, which is a crazy number.
Yeah.
Typically 25, you're already flying high, but at 32, he almost doubled everybody else's damage. So he was just having such an impact, especially on the air-to-air combat, being able to mow down other Pharahs. But in the end, doing it damage is just not enough if it's not in the right places.
yeah, it was a nice play, and it actually kept Gladiators into the game for a little bit. I mean, we mentioned Hydration as like the trump card almost as well with his flex positions beforehand. We said, you know, Hydration, he can come out with these different heroes, he can try and shut them down, but, you know, New York Excelsior just seemed a little bit too cohesive, a little bit too much too much glued together. That's not really a selling. I mean, use it anyway.
You can go with it.
Let's
You
go.
can go with it, you know what, because it's going to be Eichenwald. It is a bit of a wreck, much like your sentence structures. And so, it's getting a little, it's breaking down a little bit. So what didn't break down, at least to me, was Libero, obviously, on that last point on Eichenwald. But I mean, there were plenty of fantastic plays. So, you know, this last map here, what did Gladiators do to actually shine and take it to the New York?
I mean, all around, just very good play in general with the Pharah Mercy. You can see this is their initial attack when they were moving in with it. A lot of teams are running it these days on Eichenwald first because you can jump over and use the buildings as protection with the Pharah Mercy combo whilst your team focuses on the grounds, and it's just a very effective push attempt in general when you're trying to move onto Eichenwald, and it transitions nicely into the second phase.
Yeah, Gladiators were able to actually pick off the supports right away on their own offense, which spiraled the point out of control. But other than that, they really fell short when it came to defending against New York Excel. They just did whatever they want. It felt like their coordination when it came down to having Libero do whatever he wanted on the far end. I think how many shots did he end up hitting? He just like
I think he got like 5 kills basically.
Again,
you know,
you're just making up statistics.
Right.
Just
you know,
I think he hit about 10 rockets. It's fine.
No, he only hit 1. But it killed them all. You see, that's where Libero's at. That's his level right now. That is Libero's level. I mean, yes, this is the thing. There is quite a bit to talk about when it comes to New York, just because it feels like they were so on point. Gladiators, though, is there a light at the end of the tunnel for them moving forward? Is there anything they can take away from this match right now and kind of focus on in the scrims to come?
I mean, okay, you go ahead, Crumbs, because I'm curious as to what you're going to say about it.
I'm waiting. I'm curious to hear what both of you have to say. Let's go.
Sure, X gave it to them. But I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a light at the end of the tunnel for this team. They're up against what is probably one of the strongest Korean teams, so it's going to be uglier than what their play actually is. So I think that there's definitely... The fact that Hydration did so much damage on the third point of Eichenwald is enough for me to think that there is definitely hope for this team. They've shown diverse strategies in multiple points. They are typically not the orthodox way of approaching maps, so I do think that this team has a lot to accomplish more to accomplish, and they actually have only 7 players, which is
right now the way the Overwatch League is setting out is that these top playoff spots are mainly locked in between the Korean teams, and it's a decision. It's basically a fight between those teams in a lot of sense. But there's still spots open at the lower end of the playoffs for a lot of these teams that aren't quite on the same caliber. LA Gladiators, in my mind, are a team of that caliber. They can reach that playoff spot. They're a contender for it with a lot of these other teams that are making waves in the scene in the league so far. So there's potential there. Like I said beforehand, they've got a lot of talent on this roster. It's just finding out how to work it in a manageable way and having multiple strategies so you're not clocked into games as quickly as they were today.
I'm looking forward to seeing more Hydration, Doomfist. You know, I'm all about that on Dorado. I like it when it actually works. We didn't really get to see that because I guess Pine really caught them off guard. We kind of touched on that in the earlier segment where Pine really reigned supreme.
It wouldn't be a New York segment if I didn't give you a crazy JJoNak stat. So I'm going to drop this in another one. So he actually does 23% more damage than healing on the Zenyatta. And you're thinking, okay, well, there's a lot of Zenyatas that also do a lot more damage than healing. Well, the second most damage than healing Zenyatta is actually at 2%. So he's doing 21% more damage than any other Zenyatta, while his healing still remains middle of the pack.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Someone's got his face screwed up because that's bonkers, honestly. Like, what?
How is that running trip DPS at that point with this guy?
Precisely, yeah. It's honestly crazy. But yeah, JJoNak, great player.
Great player, but is
good analysis.
Is he your Omen by HP player of the match?
I don't know. Who did we choose? It was Mr. Mako.
It was not
JJoNak. We were sort of drifting towards JJoNak, but no, we went for Mako instead. This guy, in terms of his tank play, his off-tank play is pretty phenomenal. He can flex to a lot of these roles, his Roadhog as well. I mean, he didn't play it for long, but he had very good hook accuracy. I'm going to pull 80% out of thin air. That's actually legitimate. That was
4 hooks.
Yeah. And he can play the D.Va to a very high level as well. You can see he just knows when to move in with the abilities. Just all around a standard player. I think we wanted to go for the entirety of New York Excelsior as IMVP, but we just weren't allowed to. But Meko was the guy.
Unfortunately, it wasn't possible. Yeah, here are the stats. I mean, just look at the hero damage done. That is obscene across 4 maps, and some of them very quick maps. It means that this guy was on point, and really you're starting to feel like these D.Va players, these Zenyatas, you know, are really coming into the mix as, you know, just they're getting so effective at dealing damage on top of the other utility that they bring to the roster.
I really like the credit that the players give themselves. Arc saying, you know what, it's not just the DPS, it's us are enabling the DPS, the tanks and the healers, making sure that these guys feel comfortable when they have to go in, have to make the plays happen. And the fact that credit is being spread out and not just to the band leader, the guitarist, or the lead singer.
Listen, they get to say that all the time. They can say that as much as they want, but it really is lead vocals that is the superstar, and then the rest of them can kind of chill out. You know,
drums is the star for
It's vocals, it's guitar, and then you kind of just like, oh, those other guys. You know, all right. So, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will be starting off the third and final series of the day here, of week 2, in fact. That is going to be between the Boston Uprising and the San Francisco Shock. And so you're not going to watch, yeah, that's right, woo, because I've seen that guy with the baby Bay is the Bay's Bay sign. You guys will see it too. We'll be back after the break.
I've got you in my sight.